Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I just want to jump on here for just a quick minute. Today is my husband's birthday, so I got to get dinner on. He'll be here soon, but I just wanted to jump on real quick because a lot of things have happened today, and I just wanted to give a good news report about just the goodness of God. And I was, this morning he spoke something to me as I awoke, and it had to do with breakthrough. And he basically was talking to me about breakthrough. And for those of you who've watched me or, follow my lives or, kind of heard my story, God's calling me into some new things. I've launched a business where I'm going to start doing some coaching and some partnering coaching and inner healing together, and really just try to help people move on and get unstuck from the places where they've been in their life. And so God's equipped me, I believe, to do that. And so I'm moving forward with that. But I've been stuck in a place of that transition place. So working in this job and having multiple jobs going on right now, and then moving into the place where He's called me. And I've been kind of stuck in that place. Like, how do I do this? How am I going to do this? How the heck am I going to get this started? How am I going to... So there's all these questions that I have. And I've been kind of, I'll just say, wallowing in that. How am I going to do it? And, what's it look like? And just stuck. And I won't say stuck completely, because I've been making steps. I've been making steps. I've, continuing to do inner healing. I have a coaching client. I started the LLC. I've, done some things, but I don't feel like I'm moving fast enough. And I am still worried about how am I going to get this going, and how am I going to be able to handle all this. And so last night I had a dream. Actually, I had two dreams. It was early this morning. I had my first dream. So first of all, I know a lot of people have snake dreams, and actually right now a lot of people are having snake dreams. I probably am getting people who reach out to me and ask me to help them with dreams. Lots of snake dreams going on, but I thankfully have only had a couple of snake dreams in my life. And when you dream about snakes, it's that there's a spirit of deception that is there. So you're being deceived by a spirit. And so, anyway, I rarely dream of snakes. I probably only had, 2, maybe 3 at max snake dreams really ever. But this morning I had 2 dreams, separate dreams, spanned out about 2 hours apart, because I had one and I wrote it down and I went back to bed and I had another one. But last night I dreamt about nothing but snakes. Nothing but snakes. And the first one was about a snake that was a viper and a python. And literally in this dream, I don't know if any of you have ever had a dream that is so real, like when you wake up, you actually have if you get hurt in the dream, you have pain from the dream when you wake up. So, last night I had a dream that this viper, at first I thought it was a python, but a small python. It was a smaller one. But it bit me. And before it bit me, it spoke to me. It spoke to me, and it basically said, "This is what you get for the actions you took yesterday." Okay? And it had fangs. It unhinged its mouth, and when it was like this kind of small or medium-sized snake, but when it unhinged its mouth, it was huge, and it grabbed onto my arm. Actually, not my arm. It was under my arm, and it bit me. It put its fangs in me and bit me, and when it did, I woke up, and I'm not kidding you. I had pain. I had literal pain. I could not go back to sleep for a while, and I had pain till about 11:30 today, when I called on some. Thank God He surrounded me with some intercessors who prayed for me and broke that off. So that was one dream, and then I had another one about vipers. These vipers were just in this building that I was in, and they were scattering around. I was trying to hurt them and get them to get out. And they scattered, and so then, one of them was trying to get in my bed, and so I had like all these snake dreams last night. Like, what the heck is going on? What's the deal with the snake dream? And it's deception. The Lord showed me. And so for those of you, I have talked about doing a dream interpretation class. I'm going to be doing some dream interpretation training, a closed Facebook group. Again, I'm just announcing that. If you're interested, join that group. I'd be happy to have you. It will be free of charge. It's a beta group one-time beta group because you're going to be helping me, giving me feedback that's going to help me build out some training materials. But anyway, with that, with all of that, those dreams, snakes, again, represent deception. So if you have snake dreams, you're dreaming about snakes, you're dreaming about something, you're being deceived by something. And then a viper is something that betrays. The word viper basically means betrayer. Something that inserts poison in you because you have been betrayed or you're afraid of being betrayed. And then a python squeezes you. So when you think about a python is a constrictor. So literally it's constricting you, meaning basically it's trying to control you and squeeze the breath out of you. Okay, and your breath comes from the Holy Spirit. So the breath of life is the Holy Spirit. So basically it's squeezing you, trying to squeeze out the Holy Spirit in you. Okay? Yeah, Clay, herding snakes is harder than herding cats. Amen. So that's what I was doing. I was trying to wrangle these snakes last night, and I wasn't being very successful. Anyway, so I'm dreaming this stuff last night, and I wake up this morning. I'm like, oh my God, Lord, what is going on? Why am I dreaming about all this stuff? And and when I woke up, he spoke something to me about breakthrough. And he basically said that I am a breaker, right? That I'm experiencing breakthrough, but I am a breaker, that I break things off and help lead people into breakthrough. And because of that, that's an area that I am being challenged in right now. That I'm in that transition period. I've been in a transition period for a long, long period of time. Long period of time, way too long. But what he's showing me is that the breakthrough is here. The breakthrough is here. And what's keeping me from walking in that breakthrough was this deception. It was a fear of being betrayed. Fear of being betrayed by someone. Fear of being controlled, and then I was exerting control because I'm like trying to herd, get these things out. I'm trying to herd them and trying to take control. And somebody else walked in the house, and when they walked in the house, they just went shh, and all the snakes scattered. So anyway, so I'm saying all of that because, the God is the God of breakthrough. And I just posted something on my page a few minutes ago. It was 1 Chronicles 14:11, and I'm just going to read that real quick for you guys and explain it. So in 14:11, this is basically what's going on is, David basically has become king. And when the Philistines heard that David was king, then they got themselves all up in an uproar. They didn't like David. You remember before David, little tiny boy David killed Goliath, right? Who's a big leader of the Philistine army. And now this little boy is now, he's the king, and they don't like it. Right? And so in verse 11, it says, basically what happened, let me back up to verse 10. So David asked God, should I go and fight the Philistines, and will you hand them over to me? So first of all, he asked God, he's like, okay, I'm going to go after this, and will you give me victory? And God said, yes, go ahead, I'll give you victory. That's what he says in the end of verse 10. And it says, so then David and his troops went to Baal Perazim and defeated the Philistines there. Okay, and then David says, God has done it. He used me to burst through the enemies like a raging flood. So then that place was named Baal Perazim, which means the Lord who bursts through, or the Lord of the breakthrough. Okay, and then the Philistines had abandoned their idols there, so David gave orders to burn them up. So what God is showing there is that, first of all, there was this challenge against David. And the word Philistine, if you go back to the root word of Philistine, the word Philistine means to roll or to wallow. Okay, so when you are in need of breakthrough, what are you doing? You're wallowing in your stuff, right? Like, stuff's going on and you don't like being in this transition place and it's uncomfortable and it's, I don't like it, right? I'm complaining and whining, and why do I have to wait so long, and why do I have to be so patient, and blah, blah, blah. Is God ever going to come through, right? So you're wallowing in your stuff. That's what the word Philistine means. So when you're in that place, in that transition place, because David was in that transition place, he was moving from, basically this, he was Saul's, primary go-to guy, right? So then Saul dies, and then he's moving from Saul's, leader of the army, who basically had been running from Saul for years because Saul was trying to kill him. But he moved from that place into the kingship. So he was in a great place of transition, right? And so when you move from a transition place into what God's called you into, you will be challenged by the Philistines, which is that spirit of wallowing. All right, it's that wallowing, that, I don't like it, I don't want to do, I don't want to wait, I don't want to be patient, I don't want to, whatever. I just want to hurry up. We all like, instant gratification. All right, so that's what goes on, and that's, like I tell you, that's what this girl's been doing. I've been like, when is this all, how am I going to figure this out? How are you going to do this, God? What are we, can we just hurry up and get the plan? Tell me the plan, just tell me the plan. And I'll execute it. But just give me the plan. And he's not been telling me the whole plan. He's just been like, I told you to rest. And I've been resting since last April. And not doing it very well. But I've been in this transition place. And in this transition place, I've been wallowing. I've been fighting the Philistines. I've been, trying to break through. But then David says, God, I am going to attack the Philistines. Will you give me victory? So he had an idea. He says, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go after him. Will you give me victory? And then God said yes. But he asked the Lord first. So before he left the place of transition into his kingship and fully began to act as a king and conquered his dominion and his territory, he asked for permission. And when he asked for permission, then God said, yes, go. Go do it. And God gave him victory. And so he didn't wallow, right? He conquered the Philistines. The wallowing's over. And now he is king. He is rightly king. He's conquered his first enemy, right? And that first enemy was an enemy he'd already fought and conquered and won before when he was a little boy. Okay? But then it goes on, and then it says, but after a while, the Philistines returned and raided the valley again. And once again, David asked God what to do. And God says, do not attack them straight on. Instead, circle around behind them and attack them near the balsam trees. When you hear a sound like marching feet in the tops of the balsam trees, attack. That will be the signal that God is moving ahead of you to strike down the Philistines. So David did what God commanded, and he struck them down all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. And his fame spread everywhere. So, just a little... For where you are probably, if you are in the need of breakthrough and you feel that you are in a transition place right now, you are probably facing a giant that you've faced and conquered before. Okay? But to move out of the transition place into the breakthrough place, number one, you have to ask God for permission. Number one, don't go do it on your own. Don't do it on your own. Ask for permission. And see if he says go. Okay? Then, when he tells you go, then you go and you conquer. Okay? But then, you want to give God the glory. Give him the glory when you overcome. And when you have your breakthrough. Okay? Plant a stake. Say this is God's place. This is where God of the breakthrough did his magic. Right here. And that's what, in my life, I want to say today, God of the breakthrough has worked his magic in my life because he's told me where I'm going. And my first step was to take the step and start a business. And I've done that. I've taken the first step. And I asked him permission before I did it. I was hesitant, not hesitant in asking him, but after he said yes, I was still hesitant. I'm like, are you sure, Lord? Are you sure? So I asked and I took the step. And now that I took the step, and I've declared victory that this is what I'm going to do. And he had me profess it out of my mouth to all of you all in a Facebook Live saying, I did it. I got on late one night and I wore my little Freedom Global Ministries shirt and said, I did it, and I professed it. And I said, I'm marking my territory. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. Okay, I'm doing it. Then what happened? Philistines came back. They came back just like in verse 13. But after a while, the Philistines returned and raided the valley again. And that's what was happening last night. Last night I had all kinds of snakes. They were everywhere. They were attacking. They were biting me. They were attacking me. They were, and what was going on in that attack is God was just reminding me of some things that he has told me about where he's taking me, that I can't go it alone. I have to have an army. I have to have people who are surrounding me. I have to have people that are going to have my back. And I've been doing some things on my own without my tribe. And I got attacked in that place. And I was wallowing, and then I got some darts thrown at me, right? So it was a reminder. So now, what I'm praying today is, Lord, can I go after him again? I'm done with this attack. I'm going after him again. And now I know how to go after him. I've got to circle it. I got to circle it. And when you circle something, what does that mean? It means you surround it. You take that thing, you look at it, you stare at it, and you circle it on all sides. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be calling the people who will pray with me, the people I can count on, the people that I know are not going to betray me, because God has shown me. He's shown me who I can trust, because I've been praying into it for about 7 years, asking, Lord, who can I trust? Who am I supposed to be walking with? Who's the tribe? What am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? Been praying, sowing. And now he's taken me. He's going to take me to that place. But I got to circle it. Got to circle it in prayer. Got to circle it in prayer. Okay? And he will give me victory. But the way that I did things before are not always the way that you do it you do it in the future. So the first time that David went against the Philistines, he threw a stone and conquered them. Second time he asked for permission, and he went and he overtook his enemy like a flood. So second time God gave him breakthrough and overcame the enemy like a flood. Third time he had to circle it. He had to circle it. And that's what God is showing me. There's different ways that the enemy comes back. And every time it comes back, you have to listen to God, ask what he's telling you, and you have to invoke the strategy that he gives you. Because if you rest on your laurels and you just fight the way that you've always fought in the past, you're not guaranteed victory. Look at Moses. Moses, when the children wanted water, the first time God said, strike the rock. The second time, God told him, speak to the rock. And guess what? When he spoke to the rock, he wasn't able to enter the promised land because he disobeyed God. He did not speak to the rock. God told him to speak, but he didn't. He struck it. Because in the past, when he struck it, it worked. Second time God said speak, and he didn't speak. He struck it, and it kept him from going to the promised land. That's why it's so critical, guys, that you have to seek God in everything that you do. Everything that you do, whether it's something big and life-changing, like, starting a business, or, moving into a new job or whatever, or if it's something that is not, that doesn't seem life-changing, but making a decision about childcare, or making a decision about, just something as simple as, should I send this email or not? The decisions that we make have long-term consequences. Many of them have long-term consequences. So when you get in that place where you're asking God and you're seeking him every step of the way, he will walk with you. And he will wrangle those snakes, and he'll get that deception out of your life. Because guess what happened today with me? After those 2 dreams, I was like, Lord, I know I'm battling deception. And I went and I confessed. I confessed to some people that I can confide in. And I said, I have trust issues, guys. I've been burnt. I have been burnt by people who were my best friends that I loved. I've been burnt by them in big ways, and my heart was hurt, and it's taken me years to get over it. People that I trusted my whole life and got burnt. And so that's what God was showing me, that he's given me people around me now that I can trust, but there's still that hurt, that fear of being betrayed. So that's what the viper was, that bite. And that fear of betrayal bit my arm. And my arm is my strength. So it was zapping my strength. That fear of being betrayed was zapping my strength. And because of that, I was doing things myself and not asking for help. you know? So I just want to speak to you, you know, this is why it's so important to go to the Bible. So important because God has so many lessons for us. We're not supposed to read the Bible just because God says, you know, or your pastor says, or somebody says, read the Bible. You need to read it through in the beginning to end. God will lead you to what you need to read, because these are people's stories from their life, and it's how they got victory in their life, and it shows you how to fight, it shows you how to win, it shows you how to get God to work in your life, because when we do it in our own human mind, we just don't have the answers. But the Bible is an instruction manual. It's an instruction manual. I mean, I literally just looked up the word breakthrough, and it took me straight to this passage, and I read it. And it's only, you know, it starts at verse 10 and it goes through like verse 15. 5 verses. And God gave me tons of revelation. Tons of revelation. You know, so just seek him. Seek him and use this example about breakthrough. Look at your own life. If you're in transition right now, what is the high place that you need to overcome? What is that high place that you need to conquer? Because the first time David was fighting on the mountain, the second time he went to the valley. He's going to have you fight in both places. He's going to have you fight when everything looks good and you can see everything all around you. Then he may have you fight the next time in a valley when you're in a pit and you can't see anything that's going on. But you have to overcome in both places to truly get success. You can't fight everything from the high places, because you're not always going to be in the high places. Life is ups and downs. You're not always going to be on the mountain. You got to know how to fight in both places. Okay, and he's teaching you. He's teaching you. So just seek him. All right? Okay, that's it. I got to go. Wish everybody, if you would wish my wonderful husband a happy birthday. Today is his 49th birthday. He's on his way home making birthday dinner right now. So just wish him a happy birthday. He's an amazing man. I could not do anything that I'm doing right now without his support. He's supportive. He loves me. He's just great. He's just great. And I'm so blessed. So wish him a happy birthday. So, yesterday was my mom and dad's anniversary. Today's his birthday. Big week for us. Unfortunately, you know, we get to celebrate in quarantine, but anyway, we can still reach out to other people. We got social media, we got phones, we can still connect. So don't isolate yourself. Celebrate. This is a time of celebration. This is Passover. Today is Passover. God has delivered us from bondage. He's delivered us from bondage. Remember what he's brought you through. And remember what he's breaking through for you right now. All right? Okay, love you guys. Have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.